But Kit, we also want to talk about the forecast side of things, and you've got more on what we're dealing with the monsoonal moisture in the southwest.
That's right, Patrick. Temperatures are starting to modify a little bit there across the southwest. You heard from that meteorologist from the National Weather Service that it was warmer in parts of Minnesota than in parts of the southwest. And that's because we're starting to see more moisture, more clouds coming through. So that is helpful as we're bringing in more of that marine moisture from the Pacific and from the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to really focus this week across parts of New Mexico, southern Colorado as well, where we're going to see a lot of heavy rainfall coming up. We've already seen some heavy rain recently, upwards of an inch in many places here over the last 24 hours across the southwest. Now, again, we've been saying you might not think of an inch of rain as heavy rain, but in these areas, it doesn't really absorb very well into the clay soils. The desert ground really doesn't hold on to that moisture very well. We see a lot of rain across parts of the southwest here. Viper estimated radar around 1 to 3 inches of rain there just to the, to the west of Albuquerque, but also the black fire there across southwestern New Mexico, there, and also the Hermit's Peak, Half Canyon, and Cook's Peak fires. Those burn scars are going to be issues with flash flooding because the water doesn't like to mix with all of the ash that's left behind. So we're talking about mud flows, debris flows, possibly with some of these heavy rain amounts. We've got aerial flood watches out across most of the state of New Mexico, even into the corner here of Texas, around the El Paso, Las Cruces area. So could see very heavy rain leading to a lot of ponding on the ground, and all that eventually has to run off somewhere. So as we look at the forecast here, we've got that cold front bringing the severe to the far northern regions there, but also a lot of very heavy rainfall here across parts of New Mexico. And this isn't it. Here we are Monday going into Tuesday early morning. By Tuesday midday, we could see maybe some thunderstorms within these showers as well, but it's not going to be on the severe end. It doesn't look like at this point. We see a lot of that rainfall coming around those areas where we have those fires around Santa Fe, out towards Las Vegas, New Mexico, of course. Then by Wednesday, we start to taper it off a little bit. Still some scattered pockets of thunder showers there into the afternoon Wednesday. So could still see areas with flash flooding, maybe some long-standing flash flood warnings with all these areas, because take a look. The model's been doing pretty well with what we've already seen. We're going to see some places maybe 1 to 4 inches of rainfall. Whenever we get to those oranges and reds, that's upwards of 3 inches of rain. So out here towards the northwest as well, looking at very heavy rainfall. So we've got that slight risk out over the next couple of days. Even under this first one here, we see yet another one as we head into the days to come. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll be tracking that on Viper Radar. And of course, you can get all of the active warnings scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dog Nation, Weather Nation, I should say. Taking a look here out of Sterling Heights, especially getting around the Detroit area. A couple of puppers there enjoying the cool water. Of course, places around the north and central U.S. have been very hot with temperatures feeling very warm. Oh my goodness, all of these dogs coming out to enjoy the day. Honestly, can I trade jobs? Well, anyway, let's get back to my job. Let's take a look at Viper Radar and check out some of the rain that we've seen around the Great Lakes regions. We've got some showers crossing over Lake Erie into the Ohio area. Cleveland just to your east, you've got some pretty moderate rain showers there. So if you're headed up to the Erie area there in Pennsylvania, might come into some showers through there. Looking at 12-hour rainfall, let's actually back it up over the last 24 hours, as we've seen some places across northern Michigan with some pretty heavy rain amounts, especially here across the McMillan area, out to Sault Ste. Marie, the Sheboygan area as well. Viper is estimating some of these places have seen upwards of 2 to 3 inches of pretty heavy rain, some pretty stout amounts there, upwards of even 4 inches of rainfall there south from McMillan. So pretty heavy rainfall there. It is mostly clearing out of the area though, so that is some good news. Meanwhile, out towards the northern plains, we've got some severe thunderstorm chances today, and even into the high plains there of Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana. Let's take a look at some of these showers here moving into the Panhandle panhandle around Sioux County, Nebraska. So these are for likely 1-inch diameter hail, if not 1.5-inch diameter hail on the southern end of that storm complex, with a lot of lightning with this as well. Moving out towards Montana, we've got this severe thunderstorm warning here. Moving into Rosebud, that's the county, not the sled, Rosebud County there in Montana. That's until 2:30 p.m. The chance for large hail and damaging winds with this thunderstorm exists, but it's still just the baseline. 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch diameter hail with that thunderstorm. So we'll keep that in mind. Of course, that'll likely be crossing through some of the very rural areas here of Montana, so not a major risk to many people, but still, you want to be mindful if you are within that warning. Also here in northern parts of South Dakota into Campbell County, coming out of Corson County, South Dakota, another severe thunderstorm warning there. Looking at the National Weather Service, they actually have allowed that warning to expire. So that's some good news. Just sometimes takes a little bit to update in our system here. So let's get a little bit more of a broad view here of the northern plains. This area, we do have that chance for severe thunderstorms later on today. So we'll take off that lightning for the moment. We've got an enhanced risk, and that's the level 3 out of a 5 category system, so a little bit above that slight risk region. This is where we're looking at more of a focus for severe weather around this area. So looking from the satellite imagery, we've got some moisture in this area, and it's been trying to wrap up along with this greater low pressure system across the northwest. That's helping to bring in some shear. You can see some of these higher level clouds well to the south here. That's the jet streaks coming up. That's going to provide a little bit more energy in the upper levels to help support updrafts. And we're starting to look at this area around the Fargo area, the Dakotas into Minnesota for another potential watch. So we'll keep an eye on that right here on Viper Radar throughout the next couple of hours. In the meantime, let's head out to El Paso, Texas, a place where we might see some flash flooding from some of the thunderstorms to come through. Check out this incredible video out of Mobile Bay, Alabama. This was earlier, and these are 3 waterspouts right now to bind. Just incredible to see 3 all at the same time.
Yeah, what a sight to see. I don't know if those of you have seen Stranger Things yet. That kind of puts me in the vibe of Stranger Things, looking out at the water. I mean, I think I'd be a little bit worried to be looking out into the distance just because it's so ominous, but still definitely quite a view to see.
And you got to fight that impulse to go out on a boat and see that, because those winds can still be the strength of a small or weak tornado, and it can still cause damage if it comes ashore. So you want to treat them seriously, even if they do look very enticing indeed.
Exactly, because remember, the difference between a waterspout and tornado is just where it is. So over water, waterspout; over land, tornado.
Yeah, and we sometimes see those waterspouts come ashore, so you always want to be prepared to take shelter if they are moving in your direction.
Yeah, let's get a little bit more into your forecast, talk about what's happening on Viper Radar.
And welcome back to Weather Nation. Could easily be confused by this, thinking it's a smoke plume. This is a dust devil out of Old Hickory in Tennessee from earlier today. Otherwise, clear blue skies out there, but just enough out there to produce this little dust devil.
Yeah, pretty awesome to see something like this. Whenever you get a hot day, a little bit of rising motion, if the winds come into that rising motion at a slight angle, it can start to rotate and create what looks like a tornado, but of course there's no clouds up above that.
I mean, regardless, I don't think you'd want to be standing there in a dust devil, lots of sand and stuff. That wouldn't be fun to be in, but it is cool to observe it out there.
Yeah, and just last hour we were talking with Taban about waterspouts, also something similar. You get all that rotation in there. Again, you don't want to be in it because you can still have a little bit of debris picked up, and those winds can be pretty strong as well.
They certainly can. We have the threat for some high winds across the country today as well. At times could see significant wind gusts, so we have a couple warnings that we want to get to on a Viper tour. Yeah,
let's take a look around the Black Hills, as this is the area where we're sort of seeing an arc of thunderstorms moving through this area right now. So this is looking from around the Rapid City area. Let's go to that local radar site so we can get some detailed views of these thunderstorms. So this one moving out of Weston County into Custer County and Pennington County there in South Dakota. That one's looking at the chance for seeing some pretty large hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Of course, that's not extremely large, but that it can still cause some damage. Of course, if you know anyone who's maybe going through Custer County State Park or going through the Black Hills National Forest, maybe let them know that those thunderstorms that they hear the rumbles of, they are severe, so they do want to take cover inside. Meanwhile, in parts of Dawes and Box Butte County here in Nebraska, we've got another severe thunderstorm warning out here. This one is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch diameter hail. Again, that's sort of the baseline, the very threshold for severe thunderstorms. Whenever we talk about that, I'm going to take a look at the local radar. Not really showing much else, but we do even see just a little bit of an outflow boundary, it looks like, or at least some sort of weak boundary here across parts of Cherry County. What I'm looking at is right there. That's a little bit of return on the radar. Not actually rain, maybe some bugs or a little bit of dust getting picked up by the winds, but around this area we might see the chance for development of more thunderstorms in the hours to come. So let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook around this area. As we do have that enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms. That's the level 3 out of that 5-tier system you see up there in the corner. And so we're looking at the chance for maybe some more widespread severe thunderstorms today. As we put on also the severe thunderstorm watches here, as we've seen over the last couple of hours, we've seen these watches issued and filled in. We could see anywhere up to 80-mile-per-hour winds and up to 3-inch diameter hail. So very large hail, very large winds, or very gusty winds that can cause a lot of widespread damage in these areas. Let's take a look around parts of the Dakotas into Minnesota as well. So we've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings right here around the Grand Forks area. We can take a look at the local Grand Forks radar sites as we're seeing. We'll clear off that watch just to make it a little bit cleaner for us to see. But a lot of those thunderstorms with a ton of lightning. Let's take a look at the last 10 minutes, about 400 strikes in the last 10. So very intense thunderstorms. We see the potential for some pretty large hail. So this is into Polk County, Minnesota. Moving to Red Lake, more of Polk County and Pennington County. We're looking at a chance for some large hail and damaging winds from this, up to 70-mile-per-hour winds and 2-inch diameter hail. So we'll keep an eye on these thunderstorms here on Viper Radar. Of course, if you miss the information, you can get those counties and where those warnings are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. In the meantime, let's head out towards the southwest where we're talking about the monsoon season finally coming through.